starting a stream. Yes, we are streaming. All right, let us go. Let me drop the notes in the chat. Okay. Hi, everybody. I hear Pedro in the background. That autoplay when the Zoom starts. Okay. All right, Alan is not here, but we'll start with him. He released JS IPFS release candidate 2 for 0.33. That includes the update to the web UI, removing happy max bytes restriction, allowing large file uploads, allows web UI to detect and connect to origin without the user having to configure the API. He attempted to release 0.33, but there is some delay due to a myriad of things that have popped up. So I think he'll be working on that this week. He'll also be working on the CID base option, and then reviewing many PRs. There's also a PR open for Azure pre-release support. I think that one should be good to go. I think Hugo and I reviewed that. So I think we can move forward with that, but we want to do a subsequent update to the release process so that it fixes changelog stuff. There's another issue for that. Anybody have any questions that I probably won't be able to answer? All right, next up, Vashko.
Hey all, so last week I created the interop PR for the DHT. It is green and it is ready for being reviewed. And I also created a couple of PRs for CTL to have the DHT interop working. I have just a minor problem with the DHT in the Awesome Endeavor that I tagged you, David, to check it out when you have time. Please check, because it's just a minor detail there is missing for the interface, the IPFS interface core test. Then I upgraded the interface data store in lots of modules. For the service worker gateway, I had to upgrade the example that I previously had to use Webpack 4 because JS IPFS IO was having problems with Webpack 4 and the service worker gateway, and I created an example with Webpack 4 to track down if it was the service worker gateway problem or not. And then the IPNS over PubSub, I created the interop PR as well, but it's not green yet. There is a problem with the topic, which I cannot have the same topic as Go IPFS. I've been talking with Steven, and for this week, I hope to unblock this. So blocked the IPNS over PubSub interop because of this topic problem. The topic problem is described in the interop PR if you are interested about it. And for this week, I want to do the DHT stress test that I wanted to make in the previous week, but because of all the time with the IPNS or PubSub topic thing, I couldn't make it. And then solve this IPNS or PubSub interop problem and address all the reviews that I have for IPNS over PubSub PRs for JS IPFS and also the DHT PRs. Any questions for me?
David?
Thank you. That's a lot of stuff. Thank you so much. And yeah, I recommend everyone like checking all that work because especially on the DHT side, it's a long time coming, and so a lot of people are waiting. Vashko, I totally I've been like trying to follow, and I think I managed to unblock you in a bunch of pieces during the weekend. So I hope that was good. But I definitely saw your comment. I just haven't I need to process a little bit more. Thank you so much for the write-up and for the proposal. I just need to pitch in on what you're saying to be able to give you an answer.
Yeah, no problem.
Probably tomorrow I'll give you the proper answer. Or if anyone wants to review that on the Awesome DHT Endeavor, it seems like we are super close. Everyone should be super excited about that. And so yeah, go get. It looks like you can go there and give a GitHub reaction.
Nice.
all good.
Any other questions for Vasco? All right. Next up is me. All right. So the major things last week was working on the libp2p release. I found a bug in Switch while doing the tests against JS IPFS. So that is fixed. And then I'm testing the release candidate 2. That should be good to go today or tomorrow. I just need to go test against the JS IPFS one more time while that is stable-ish now, hopefully. There was a lot of issues last week, just going through the tests and then having the key data store updates, breaking like all the master builds and causing a big nightmare. And then the length of time for running the JS IPFS tests made me go crazy again last week. So I started looking at all of the test suites to figure out how we can just get rid of daemons across the board. So I have a pull request to remove a bunch of the HTTP API tests that are unnecessarily spinning up the daemons. And then I also have a proof of concept working of getting rid of daemon runners for the CLI tests so that we can just focus on testing the interfaces, because we basically have like 3 forms of IPFS that we need to test, and there's not really a reason to run daemons for anything except for some very basic process forking to make sure that the CLI is actually being initiated correctly. So I won't have time to dive into that too much because I need to focus on the testbed stuff this week because October is pretty much over. And so I'll be trying to focus on that this week and then getting libp2p 24 out the door today or tomorrow. Any questions for me? All right, Hugo.
Hi guys. Last week I still worked a little bit on the pipeline. I did a couple of calls with the guys from the infra team, explained everything with about my prototype. They are still working on a Circle CI prototype based on the things I did for GitLab. But I basically finished the like at least a basic configuration with the 2 use case we already talked about. This is all on working on a fork of the JS IPFS repo on my GitHub account. You can check there. I also activated Renovate on that repo because I can't really activate it on the other repos. And I will make a issue talking about it. I also did a couple of stuff on the CTL, basically improving the purpose is improving the speed. And basically that's like adding an option to send the configuration when you init a daemon, so we don't have like to do like 4 different child processes and stuff. Also did a couple of pull requests about missing and unused dependencies on the API and on the IPFS repo. Another stuff was fixing CTL not actually starting when you pass start through, and also fixed up a lot of the options handling that was kind of crazy. I will continue with this work on the other files on CTL because the options handling is kind of crazy in there too. Did also work on some ESLint stuff that came up when we start removing unnecessary dependencies. And for this week, I'll push the PR that the guys from the infra team did. I'll try to make to help them finish up the Circle CI prototype so we can compare the two, or Circle CI with GitLab and figure out what's best for us. I also will do an issue explaining everything about the Renovate service and with my fork as an example. And I'll try to push Azure experimental build to be the default one. This will help me with reducing bundle size OKR, and also start working on error codes and the IPFS roadmap. Anyone has any questions for me?
No questions other than yeah, like through the weekend, I got to see a bunch of things that got stuck. I think right now we are paying huge costs for not spending time on like improving our dev tooling and TI. I see a lot of PRs that like just go unmerged for weeks to months that are super simple. They are there, but like there was like some CI hiccup, the thing got read, no one paid attention again. And so we really need like to fix, like I fear that we might like be losing like 30 or more or 40% of our time just having to fight with the CI right now. It's very troubling, like to the point where thank you so much for like taking the lead and like checking out things with GitLab. Like yeah, like we should have something that improves development speed in the next week or so. Like even if it's just like enabling Circle in a way that at least we have like some positive assertion that like, hey, this PR is good enough for us to be convinced to merge for now. And then we bring back the Windows testing, which is always like the big question, like how can we get Windows testing? And then later, we get towards like actually having what I called in the past sustainable modules, which is what are the kind of hooks that we need to implement? Like the kind of checks and like what are the things that we can automate to make like releasing easier, that make testing easier, and so on. And so, yeah, like I'm not like giving you a question or it's more awesome, but let's like double down on that as a group because it might be like, I think it's hurting us a lot. Google?
Yeah, last week and through the weekend too, I got really frustrated about the Jenkins situation because everything was not getting green at any cost. And especially as I actually implemented a pipeline that works faster and more reliable, I even get more frustrated about it. And things that we are discussing on Azure, like pre-releases and stuff like that, there's all that stuff is already in my prototype and working perfectly. So we need to really double down, as you said, and it will be really helpful if you all like say something on the CI pull request. I will explain everything so you get more acquainted with how everything works. But we will be really helpful if you can pitch in and talk about it. And one more thing is especially about the Windows thing. That's not really a problem with if we use GitLab. Right now, the infra team is kind of tending to Circle CI because other working groups are kind of committed already to the Circle CI, but it's kind of, in my opinion, it's not like the best choice because we will go through the problems we had in the past about queuing up with other clients and stuff like that. But we need to discuss it, but we need to also discuss it fast because we need to solve our CI problems to be able to work faster.
Ollie, I think you had your hand, and then Walker.
My question has been answered. I was wondering why we were putting Circle CI in the way of delivering what Hugo's done already, but he's answered that.
Walker?
Yeah. I just want to mention that on Circle CI, I think the idea from Infra was also that you can also pay them for not having queues. So, yeah.
From what I was able to learn, we can pay them for something like adding up bigger containers or something like that. But I'm not really sure that they can solve the queuing problem like for more money.
Okay, yeah. So you should have a better idea than I have. So okay, thanks.
I'm not like 100% on it, but from the talks I've been listening from GitHub's issues and stuff, my perception is that we can pay for bigger machines, but not like, I don't know if they can really solve the queuing. And with GitLab, it's our machines. It's like we only will be queued up with ourselves. So it's.
Mm-hmm. So let's not like discuss that issue in depth because we have 11 minutes left. Can I ask everyone to put as an action item of their on their to-dos this week to review this proposal? Remember, like this will affect the way you work. It will affect the way that you like communicate with the community, and so it's very important for everyone to really like pay attention and understand, and like also ask questions. Make sure like these questions are captured so like there is a proper proposal. Taking into example the proposal that was created to adopt Discuss, where it had like the study of multiple options and like the things that were brought on early on and the things that got answered and like the reason why we finally made the decision to create a Discuss. Let's make sure that we do the same for these with everyone on board. Can I get a thumbs up from everyone on like? All right, Ollie's going to do it 2 times.
Let me just add one more thing. We're supposed to have like the 2 prototypes running for at least for a little while, like Circle CI and GitLab CI, so we can test how they work and compare them, actually compare them, not just looking at some file.
Awesome. Okay, so Jacob, take the lead, and like let's try to use the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, you are up, David. Be fast.
Okay, it's me. All right. So me, I worked on the files API refactor that got proposed, and so that means basically making it's like step 1 of 3 steps to get a new revamped files API that will use all the fancy modern JavaScript, but also that will actually like enable users to understand what's going on in terms of files. So it's kind of like a merger between MFS and files and binning. And so this first refactor is really about adding some more functionality, like adding from FS and adding from URLs, and also moving some of these calls, like separating the non-MFS calls from the MFS calls, so that we can then have the migration to the Sync Generators API, which is the second step. And then the third step is merging MFS to these first, like these top level commands, and basically make everything that is files a top level command given that it is IPFS. And so I worked on that. I got the tests done on interface IPFS core and the documentation. I got JS IPFS API to work, like so I did all the refactor. I almost did all of the JS IPFS. I intended to do it on the plane, but apparently JS IPFS and JS IPFS MFS have a circular dependency, which makes it very hard to like just get out of it. Like we need to get very good at like stopping with the circular dependencies. We had this problem in the past where like in order to fix a module, we had to release another one, but in order to release another one, you had to like release the first one. And so it's the definition of circular dependency. And so basically you had to release a module without passing the test and then release the other one very fast. It's just a mess. Well, when there is such kind of thing, like let's make an interface and it's just like, let's get MFS to use like an add cat get interface that then just IPFS can just like add those commands rather than adding the whole IPFS object into it. But I can take care of that. It's just like it was impossible for me on a plane. And so then I also found an issue on IPFS DCTL. We've already talked a bunch about it. There is a pull request. There is not a pull request actually. There is like just my question of, hey, like why are things taking so much time to merge? And so I found a bunch of PRs that were like perfect done. They would like remove time from releasing stuff or simplify code. And so I just like took on the responsibility of like reviewing, doing a lot of rebases from master, like checking they were passing the tests and merging and releasing them. So like you might have seen a lot of releases during the weekend. it was due to that. And I want to use that as, hey, like, there's a lot of things that people have been producing that is super useful for some projects that are not getting attention. And so I think we need to get better at like waffle boarding. I did some waffle grooming, and so I went through a bunch of issues at the labels, basically like check like what was still valid, what was fixed, what was not fixed, and that was super helpful for me. I'm not sure like if waffle is still super helpful to everyone, but at least like for me, I have a very good experience like just opening up, like setting up a timer, saying like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, open a bunch of issues, label them, like answer to them, merge them if they are pull requests, and if they are done, and feel very good about myself and the project, because like so much work gets done like so fast because like the work is already there. I just have to like rebase things and merge them. It's great. Like you should try that as well. And also like it helps others understand like they have the features they always wanted for like 6 months. And so it's great. You should try it. So yeah, what I did do as well. And I created a new IPFS architecture diagram. Go there, post comments. So far people seem pretty happy. But then again, it's just like representing what's there. So I guess like there is not too much to bike shed other than the diagram itself. But to go there and comment. And also I opened an issue which I think seems relevant to some of these conversations, which is, should we try GitHub for our org? We talked about it in the past. It seems like we kind of like keep patching our coordination toolkit with more Google Docs, more GitHub issues, more templates for pull requests and whatnot, and more CIs that break. And like when I look at GitLab, it's like, hey, like they have everything. They have like issues that can be in multiple repos. They can have like epics, and they have like Kanban boards, and they have like release lifecycle. They have monitoring. It's like, what? Why are we hurting ourselves every day? Doesn't make any sense. And like everyone that I talk that moved to GitLab just tells me wonders. So it's not just like marketing. There's like definitely people that have tried it and like it. So I would love to explore what it means for us to try it out. And I do have a very humble proposal of just like moving multi-formats there, because it's kind of stable and like kind of like well contained. And so we could perhaps try that. Let's see. Comment if you are interested in that, comment there. I think there's a lot of value. And yeah, for this week, I have a lot of like work on like IPFS project roadmap plan. But I'll try to get the work that I'm now doing with Google on IPFS is still done. I need that to add to the list. I want to get the Files API refactor ready. I know it's not going to be merged before the next release, but like I just want to get it ready so that when this release gets done, like it's ready for the next one. And I've been working on this thing called IPSend, or the past name was IPSend. But essentially, what I want to do, I'm not even like married to any name. I just want to make like deploying web pages to IPFS very simple and fun. And like I think we have all the tooling, we just haven't polished it yet. And so I took on the task of like upgrading a tool that I built on the past that was kind of fun at the time and got a lot of attention, but then I stopped having time to pay attention to it, and so it's all broken. So I've been like refactoring it and polishing it and like creating a roadmap for it. So you check it out. And yeah, appreciate all the comments and feedback and ideas. But yeah, the goal is let's make publishing web pages like IPFS really fun and easy, like it is GitHub Pages or using Surge.sh, stuff like that. It was not fast. I'm sorry for taking so much time. Thank you. Questions for me?
No questions allowed. No time. Volker.
Okay, so for me it's pretty quick. So I did a bit of the graph sync stuff, but mostly I spent time getting my IPLD, by breaking IPLD change into IPFS, because it also breaks the IPFS API. And yeah, so we spent the half week on basically getting this release kind of out, trying. Yeah, and then I want to thank David for going over those all issues that he was mentioning and merging them, because there was plenty of stuff that I did. And thanks, yeah. And next week, yeah, I will also like hopefully this IPLD change will go into IPFS. We'll have a release, and again graph-sync stuff, and then just like catching up with the things that I couldn't get done because of the IPLD stuff and circular dependencies and CI. So yeah, we'll see. All right, that's all.
Any quick questions for Volker? All right, Alex.
Hi. So I did a new release of IPFS NPM, which is pretty cool. It's now like a standalone app that kind of wraps either NPM or Yarn and uses our IPFS registry to pull down your dependencies, and it will just proxy everything else to those commands. So if you're doing something that isn't pulling down dependencies, it will go off and it will do the right thing in theory. I would do a demo, but it's really slow. So I'm not going to do a demo because I'm going to spend the rest of the week making it fast. So at the moment we're syncing all of NPM, which will make it easier because we don't have to go off to NPM itself to get stuff, which will make it a little bit faster. But the syncing is really slow, and I'm kind of worried that NPM is growing faster than the sync is running. So I've been trying to make that fast first. So right now that's about 10 to 15 times faster than it was this morning. I'm hoping tomorrow it's going to be 10 to 15 times faster again. And then hopefully that will make the CLI faster as well. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to make the CLI faster as well. And that's probably going to be me for the rest of the week. Cool. Any questions?
Awesome.
That is super awesome. Should we try to dog food it? Should we say everyone now uses this to install dependencies and tell you how they feel about it?
As long as they don't tell me it's slow, then yeah, because I know it's slow.
But like you just slow on first install, right? The second one is kind of fast, isn't it? Because
more or less. I mean, it's the more times you run it, the quicker it gets.
Let's wait till it's really fast, which is next week. I can wait 5 days, 7 days.
Fine. By the way, like I opened a bunch of issues. There's a lot of like room for creativity here. Like I actually already got my Raspberry Pi in my external hard drive because I want to have like a box, which is my local NPM cache in my network. And I want to be able to say, hey, NPM, like this is for the future. I want to be able to say, hey, my local NPM registry cache on IPFS, could you sync to my laptop all the modules that I keep using so that I can go on this like very like long flight and like have all my dependencies with me that I keep using it. It'd be great. And so, yeah, like you could be, you can have like your portable version of NPM with you while you have like your PV, like complete version of NPM on your local cache.
Just get like a nice Raspberry Pi NPM necklace and you can just carry NPM with you.
That's true. That's better.
All right. Other than that, people are out on November 1st, some people anyway, for holidays in Europe. Other than that, I think we are done. There are no other questions.
Terry, do you have any update? Terry and Ollie, do you have any updates you want to share?
No, Michael suggested I spectate, but any updates that I'm going to have are going to be about the Proto School site, which I assume would be for the community meeting, not this meeting, right?
True. But like any kind of like feedback that you have for our, I don't know, like anything that you need from the JS team is actually a good time to open it up. Like if you are blocked on something so that we know. Okay. Another thing that I would love, and like, if Alan was here, he would probably bring this up. I would love like the community working group to tag along with us. Is this awesome endeavor, sync iterators? And so basically we are going to refactor the whole code to use the sync iterators to make APIs really, really nice. Everyone is so excited. If I knew it was like so easy to make us happy. But yeah, so I'm also excited because when you stop like just focusing on internals and like the really hard network problems, and like you spend a weekend trying to use IPFS, you really hit a bunch of problems. Like, come on, like, wait, why does this need to be so hard? And so I think it would be super cool if the community team given that like everyone is a JavaScripter, to help us on this endeavor, because it will give you like first-hand experience on like all these modules, their remis, the tests, like what they do, what they do not do, and like how, like you will have an opportunity to impact our APIs that then will be exposed to all developers. So don't feel like you have to like join on the refactoring, but I think it will be useful. Also to see how we coordinate, how we tackle like these gigantic endeavors, like refactoring the whole code base, etc. So you, Michael and Portia, like if you want to join, like point them to this issue and yeah, let them know that we are looking for more volunteers.
Okay, I'll mention that. I feel a little unequipped to do anything that has to do with the actual IPFS code base right now, but well, maybe I'm wrong.
But that's the good part, is that you get to learn. Right, the test's already there. You just have to refactor APIs, and there's like modules that are smaller. So you like there's like definitely we probably should have a column on this that says difficulty, because there might be modules here that are really hard because they are like that with the view switch is a really hard one. But I think, for example, on multi-format slants are simpler.
Okay.
So cool. All right, Ollie. Any other thoughts? Things to say, Terry? All good? Ollie, go for it.
You guys didn't break anything for me last week. That was really helpful. I found the happy JS upload bug, which was a shocker. I'm glad that's been fixed. There's new desktop designs coming soon. And I also fixed it so that Web UI would work out of the box with JS IPFS. That's pretty cool. And something that was missing, but it was hey. Otherwise, carry on the good work, gentlemen.
Thank you, Ollie. All right, Jacob, do you want to wrap it up?
Okay, yeah, that's it for real this time. All right, everybody, have a good week, and see you on the interwebs.
I have added some actions. I took notes. Their actions are added to your document. You should do them.
Perfect.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Pull request the notes to the PM repo.
I'm not going to do that.
Oh, come on, Ollie.
Jacob's going to do that.
Got it.
Thanks, Jacob. Bye.